here's Dave Allen.
Welcome into the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday. Brought to you by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Matt Guitar Murphy, Stephanie Pauly, our producers today. Open line West Virginia on the way at the bottom of the hour. 1-800-765-TALK or text 304-TALK-304. On the campus of Shepherd University tonight, a discussion on data centers. It's called Data Centers in Our Backyard, Jobs, Infrastructure, and Community Impact. Here to talk about it is Ashley Horst of the Stubblefield Institute. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Well, I'll tell you, we've talked about this a lot on the air, in our newscasts and whatnot, and you're just a few hours away from showtime.
Absolutely. And I know yesterday we met with our panelists, and on tonight's panel, we have representatives from both state and county government. We have a representative from an advocacy group, Tucker United, who has organized to ask questions and express concerns about data centers. And we also have a representative from a data center company, in fact, the one that is building the data center at the Berkeley-Jefferson County line. And yesterday we met to discuss the format of tonight's discussion with the moderator, Steve Pearson from the Observer Weekly, who is our co-sponsor for tonight's event. And it was really interesting. In fact, I had to say a couple of times, okay, let's hold this for the discussion tomorrow night, because I was learning so much just in hearing the four of them and hearing Steve, give them an idea of the questions that'll be asked. And I don't think anybody's surprised at the questions. And there are things around energy consumption and water and sustainability and jobs. I think these are all the questions that we're seeing on Facebook and we're hearing people ask in town halls. And we're excited to be able to bring together people who can answer some of these questions.
And again, we do want to remind you that you can watch that in real time on MetroNews Televsion. Make sure that you download the app. And I know there's a few other radio stations, some of the ones we're a part of up in the Eastern Panhandle, they're also going to broadcast it as well. I thought it was very interesting. I had to laugh there when you said, you were almost like a coach, with your clipboard and a whistle, saying, "All right, let's don't do it all in practice. Let's wait till game time." That's what you're telling them, right?
Absolutely. And it was interesting because our four panelists, Kara Keys, Amy Margulies, Chris Morris, and Dado Slezak, all know each other. And so they've all worked together. And to see how they demonstrate that they come at this issue from different perspectives. I know that Kara, as a Jefferson County commissioner, had some strong opposition to some of the bills that were going through the House this year. I know that Amy Margulies from Tucker United similarly had opposition or questions. But then also when you look at Chris Morris, who's the director of the Data Economy Office with the West Virginia Department of Economic Development, and then, of course, the representative, Dado Slezak, from the data center company, they have all different perspectives, but they were able to engage, even just yesterday, in civil discourse and ask each other questions and point out concerns and how are you handling this? And it was such a great example, and we look forward to bringing that to the public tonight.
And again, this is kind of and we've interviewed, you guys have done things like this in the past on other topics. This is kind of what the Stubblefield Institute is all about. It's just civil discourse and just having a good old-fashioned discussion and learning one from the other.
Absolutely. So often when we are having discussions, we're only seeing or hearing one side. And social media certainly does this as it promotes things that are aligned with what you have already liked or expressed interest in. And so sometimes it can be really difficult to find multiple perspectives put together to present information in a way that you're getting the bigger picture and not just one piece of it.
And I don't know that there's been an issue in the last few years that's really captivated everyone like these data centers have. And, data centers are a part of life, but obviously everybody wants the communities to be taken care of. And we've got a big battle, not I'll say a battle, that's not the right word. A lot of discussion after the announcement last week, the one that was going to be built in the county where I live, in Putnam County, the Buffalo community. It's Google, it's doing that. And as soon as that was announced, the governor put out an announcement, the Putnam County Development Authority put out an announcement, and immediately, to your point, on social media, there were all this back and forth and whatever. And, discourse is good as long as it's civil discourse.
Absolutely. And to your point about, there may not have been a previous issue that is being so heavily discussed. This is such a statewide issue. This isn't something that's just affecting the Eastern Panhandle or the Northern Panhandle or Charleston or the southern part of the state. It is in so many communities, and it's happening so quickly. And because of that, there's a lot of information that is being broadcast, that's being written, that's being shared on social media, and some of it's true and some of it's not. And so it's really important to take the opportunities when you can to get good information so you can be making your mind up on something factual and not just what, kind of what you heard over the fence talking to your neighbor.
Yeah, and that's basically what social media is now. It's the post office in small towns like where I'm from. Everybody, that's where you heard all the good stuff was at the barber shop or at the post office, and or you referenced over the discussions over the backyard fence. I mean, that's what, and that's fine to have those discussions, but don't necessarily take it as truthful what your cousin Carl said as he was cutting your hair. I mean, you got to have a reputable source, and I think you're going to get that. I think you've got a great panel for this event this evening.
Exactly, and we are very excited to have the four individuals with us. I think Steve Pearson from the Observer Weekly is going to do a phenomenal job as moderator. He's been doing a good bit of journalism and writing about this issue, and so he himself is very informed about the potential impact to our communities.
And I've interviewed Chris Morris on this show. He's the director, the official title, Director of the Data Economy Office through the West Virginia Department of Economic Development. I had him on this show a couple of months back, and I found him to be very informative, and I learned a lot during the interview with him.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that I hope people understand when they're listening to this conversation is that there are so many nuances, that one data center is not exactly like every other data center. And so, each of these questions, we're doing our best to answer them in a way that is as general as possible, but understanding that there are going to be specifics to your community, that you need to get engaged in your local politics and in your local conversations to understand.
Yeah, and we've over the last year that we've been doing this show, we've talked to people that were pro data center and those that, and I think that's, and you can tell me if you think I'm incorrect on this. What I have learned in hosting this show and interviewing various people, you have the hardcore people that are 100% for them. You have the 100% that are against them. But I think there's a lot of people that are somewhere, and this is what we hope will tune in. People that will tune into this tonight on MetroNews Television. There's a lot of people that are in the middle. They just want to learn, and they just want the truth, because there's been so much put out there on social media, and it's not that they're absolutely build it right beside my house or absolutely I don't want one anywhere. They're just like, well, I got questions, and that's where I think, in my opinion, Ashley, I think that's where most people are.
I would agree with that. We did give people the opportunity to submit questions in advance. We are not taking audience questions tonight because we knew there were so many questions out there that we wanted to capture as many as we could and put them into a discussion that makes the most sense and gives the most information to the audience. And so you're exactly right. When it comes to, this isn't a discussion of are data centers good or bad. This is a discussion of what is the reality of these data centers. What is the impact on community? Do they bring jobs? Do they not? What do they mean for the infrastructure? So people can make up their minds about them or have no opinion at all. That's okay too, but with factual information.
Well, again, and what time does it start tonight?
6 o'clock.
It starts at 6 o'clock. And again, you can download the MetroNews Television app, and you can watch it there. And you've got a great panel of people, again, that have got answers. That's the important thing about it. It's not something that you read on social media. These are people that are on one side or the other from the industry. people that do this and people that have done their due diligence and their research, and they got hard facts on why they think that they may not be necessarily such a good thing. And you've got 4 experts there, and you got a great moderator in Steve Pearson of Observers Weekly. And of course, you folks at the Stubblefield Institute do a great job. Big shout out to the folks at Shepherd University for hosting this. It's going to be a great, great evening. And Ashley, I know you put a lot of work into it, and we will catch up with you later on your next big project. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Ashley Horst again from the Stubblefield Institute. Now, again, this town hall, think of it as a virtual town hall, but you can watch it live on MetroNews Television tonight. Data centers in our backyard, jobs, infrastructure, and community. And the Stubblefield Institute has done a great job putting this thing together. Also, Observer Weekly, and download the MetroNews Television app, and you can watch it. Also, as I said, I know there are several of the radio stations up there in the Eastern Panhandle that are also going to be carrying it live. As I said, don't necessarily listen to your cousin Carl as he's cutting your hair. I don't actually have a cousin Carl that cuts my hair. I have a guy named Dave that cuts my hair. So there you go. But check it out. MetroNews Television night. It will start at 6 p.m. It is 2:18. We'll get to Open Line West Virginia at the bottom of the hour, 1-800-765-TALK. That is the phone number, 1-800-765-8255, or you can text 304-TALK-304. Amanda mentioned this just before she exited down the street to the world of television, and that is Wednesday. We like to put the spotlight on somebody doing great things in their community. And in the past, we have made our wonderful West Virginia segments about people in the recovery community, about people that were heroes that rescued someone, or in one case, something. People that have worked with youth sports, people that have worked with veterans issues, animal welfare issues, all kinds of things we featured in the past, but we rely on you to nominate those folks. So drop us an email, midday@wvmetronews.com, midday@wvmetronews.com. Just tell us a quick story about the person that you think needs to be recognized as a wonderful West Virginian. It doesn't have to be a 2 or 3 page essay. Just, this is why I think this person is doing great things in my community, and I'd love to see them recognized, and make sure we can get a hold of them, give them a phone number. Give us a phone number, and we'll try to get a hold of them to do an interview. Again, it's midday@wvmetronews.com. That's the email address, or you can reach out to me on social media, Dave Allen Radio on Facebook, or at DaveA70 on X. We'll take a break. Coming back after this. Stay with us.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on MetroNews Televsion, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
NoKidHungry.org.
Welcome back to the show, 224, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. Your chance to win on any subject that you wish. You can call me or you can text me, 1-800-765-TALK. That is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. If you're a parent or grandparent worried about how you're going to pay for college, Metro News proud to present the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program. One high school junior in the Mountain State's going to get a full ride, folks, to West Virginia Wesleyan. Includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Full details available at the website wvmetronews.com. Simply click on the Apply Now button. The deadline, though, is May 3rd. 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today. Application deadline, though, is May 3rd. A couple of things in the news I wanted to get to. A news release just went out over the last, hour or so. Friends of Blackwater Canyon are going to deliver 3,000 plus signatures urging the governor to protect Blackwater Canyon. Now, this, again, is a release from the Friends. It says Friends of Blackwater Canyon will hold a press event at the Capitol tomorrow where they're going to deliver more than 3,000 petition signatures calling on the governor to select the northern route for completion of Corridor H, which will, their words, protect the Blackwater Canyon and the region's thriving outdoor recreational economy. It's going to happen at 11:30 tomorrow morning on the grounds of the. Actually, it's going to be outside the governor's office at the Capitol tomorrow morning at 11:30, and speakers will include Judy Rod, who is the president of the Friends of the Blackwater Canyon Group, and also various members of the Tucker County business and community leaders will be there as well. And they say, according to the release, that they have a map of the proposed southern route compared to the suggested northern route and the respective proximity to Blackwater Canyon in the towns of Thomas and Davis. And they go on to say Blackwater Canyon, one of West Virginia's most iconic annual natural natural assets, and a cornerstone of the region's outdoor recreation and tourism economy. Supporters of the northern route say that it offers a responsible path forward for completing Corridor H while preserving the natural beauty and economic vitality of Tucker County. And again, this is all going to happen tomorrow at 11:30 on the grounds of the West Virginia State Capitol. I'll get into this a little bit after we get into Open Line West Virginia. But there's something I thought that just kind of caught my interest. Not saying good or bad, just kind of caught my interest. And there are at least a couple of counties in West Virginia that are sending out cards from their county clerk's offices to registered voters. And the cards have information on them about what's going to happen on Election Day. Now, you will recall that the Republican Party has closed their primary. That was not a decision of the county clerks. It wasn't from the legislature. It wasn't from the Secretary of State's office. The Republican Party, of which, by the way, they have every right to do whatever they want to do, but the Republican Party made the decision to go back to a closed primary, meaning on Election Day, when you go to your polling place, or if you do early voting, either one, in the past in West Virginia, if you're registered as an independent, you've always been able to go in on Election Day or early voting, go up to your poll worker and say, I'm a registered independent, but I want a Republican ballot, or I want a Democrat ballot, or whatever the case may be. If you do not specify, then you're only allowed to vote a nonpartisan ballot. You know, your boards of education and things of that. They don't have a letter after them, no parties. Well, the Republican Party, years or two ago, made the decision that they wanted to close their primary, meaning that if you are a registered independent in the state of West Virginia, when you go in on Election Day or for early voting and you say, I am an independent, but I want a Republican ballot, you will not be given one. And that's not the fault of the poll worker or anybody else. It was a decision made by the party to do this. And there was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party that weren't happy with this at all. And there were some people that were all for it. But my point in saying this is that there are a few counties in the state of West Virginia that are sending out information right now. And good on them for doing that, okay? And just basically explaining the process. Now, one of the cards that I saw that was sent out from a county didn't just have that. It had other valuable information about, there was a QR code where you could scan to check your registration and things of that nature. There was information on being a poll worker, because we all know that there's a great need for poll workers in the state of West Virginia. And there was some very valuable, the one card that I saw, these folks are to be commended because they've used every possible inch of that card. My question is, though, the expense of doing this. And you figure, and I did a little research online last night, those cards, and again, it's going to vary. You're looking at about 55 cents for those cards. So if you send one to every registered voter in your county, if the clerks decide to do that, it could get quite expensive, all on a decision that was made by the state Republican Party and the executive committee. So it's taxpayer dollars that are going through that. Just saying. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this. And now we'll go to the Metro News Anchor Desk for a check of local news. You're listening to Midday on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Governor Patrick Morrisey has signed the bill into law that puts the control of high school athletes' transfers back into the hands of the school principals who operate the SSAC. The new law repeals the more liberal transfer rule that's been in effect for 3 years. Kanawha County Delegate Dana Farrell says under the new rule, underclassmen can transfer, upperclassmen cannot.
Or your underclass years. Kids are still at that point trying to figure out their way forward, and it gives them an opportunity to do that. But not in their upper class years, junior, senior year. And that's when we're seeing most of the team stacking and recruiting and that kind of thing take place.
Governor Morrisey says the SSAC's new rule will be more balanced and include a lot more common sense. Meanwhile, we'll probably see more action by the governor later today on a number of bills passed by state lawmakers. Morrisey faces a signing deadline of Wednesday. U.S. News and World Report says New River Gorge National Park and Preserve is the most underrated, best tourism area of the country. Governor Morrisey, State Tourism Secretary Chelsea Ruby celebrated that news at the Gorge earlier today. Ruby says the area didn't make that list by accident.
I give a huge thanks to all the locals here who welcome visitors into their communities each and every day, who provide those experiences, whether you're at a restaurant, a rafting company, working in the visitor center, wherever you may be, you're providing a warm, welcome space for visitors.
You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
When I started school sports, I didn't know who I wanted to be. I just wanted to play.
But looking back, I developed character, resilience, and integrity. And now I'm settled in a career. I'm a leader to my own kids and my community. I know who I am and where I belong, and it started with school sports. I found my place. Find yours.
This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
The Stubblefield Institute at Shepherd University has a panel discussion scheduled for tonight on data centers. It's a discussion you'll be able to watch on the MetroNews Television app and the MetroNews Television YouTube page. The Institute's Ashley Horst says they have several voices lined up to talk about the issue.
We're bringing these different perspectives together, giving the public an opportunity to submit their questions to shape the discussion, and then let us have an honest conversation about it.
From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Discover the WVRC Media app, your gateway to pristine audio for every WVRC radio station across West Virginia. Download it for free from the Apple or Play stores and enjoy the best music, talk, and local news from Beckley to Morgantown, Charleston to Martinsburg. Our stations are locally programmed, delivering the finest music and robust local news and sports coverage. Experience West Virginia radio like never before. The WVRC Media app. We're proud to live here, too. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
Welcome back to the show. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit SalangoLaw.com. Open line West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK is a phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. I want to follow up on something I was talking about before the break. I did find out that the state's, from what I've been told, the state's largest county, Kanawha County, will not be sending those cards out because it's quite a bit of expense. And so they could change their mind between now and then, but from what I was told, those cards will not be sent out in Kanawha County. And I just think it's kind of interesting. And an informed voter is a good voter, and good on the county clerks, the counties that are sending out that information. My point in making that was not to take issue with the county clerks or anybody else, other than to just say this was being caused by the decision by the executive committee of the state Republican Party that they didn't want independents to vote in their primary, and they just wanted to make sure that the clerks did want to make sure that people knew about that. And look, it's their decision. But as somebody I was talking to last night, it's pretty close to politics, said, is it time? And I have no idea. This would probably be a change in code or something like that, or legislative approval would have to be given. Maybe people have to vote on it. I don't know. Is it time, though, that the political parties pay for their own elections and it not come out of the checkbook of the taxpayers? I mean, there could be all kinds of problems, I know, but I don't know. Maybe it's time to look at that. I don't know. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Text says, hey, Dave, ask her how many decibels will be produced when the big box is working at capacity. Well, that's the kind of information, talking about data centers, that will be answered tonight with the esteemed panel that they have from the Stubblefield Institute on the campus of Shepherd University. And urge you to get the MetroNews Television app, and you can watch it. It's also being streamed on various, as I said, some of the radio stations up there are carrying it as well. So that's the kind of stuff they're going to address tonight. Text says, I sure hope the media is as tough and unfair to the next president as they were to this one, says the texter. Happy Eiffel Tower Day, says the texter. Text says, the way MetroNews promotes data centers, you would think you guys were also in the data center business. I don't think talking about things is necessarily promoting them. You know, the job, with the way I see it anyway, is for us to talk about what people are talking about. And especially this past, and maybe it's because of where I live, but this past Friday when the announcement came out and all 3 television stations covered it, and Metro News, of course, was all over it as well, and we talked about the data centers. That's a lot of what was on my social media timeline, and that's what we talk about. And we just don't want to get the information out there. And it's been a long time since there has been. I guess if I were ranking things, I probably would go back to maybe COVID. As far as it's been it's been that long. It was 6 years ago that people got fired up as much about on social media and other outlets. You'd probably have to go back to COVID. Remember those days? I remember them well. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text says, am I the only person in America that couldn't care less whether or not we go to the moon? You know, I have never, this is just me, I'm weird in a lot of ways. I have never, with all due respect to my man, Homer Hickam, who I'm very close friends with and have been for some time, what goes on outside the earth has never interested me in the least. And I wish I had that in me, because I am old enough to remember, you know, when space shuttles before the Challenger explosion were a regular thing. I remember Space Shuttle Columbia when it took off and what a big deal it was. Cover of Time magazine, all 3 of the major networks covered it. And I'm still, I don't remember the moon landing. I wasn't born yet, but I do remember the talk of it in the early 1970s, early to mid 1970s. People were still talking about it. Just never was my thing. And you like what you like, and you don't like what you don't like. And it just kind of looked like the texter. I was like, eh. Texas, way to go, Marshall ladies. Final 4 bound. Text says, Trump really lives rent-free in you and your listeners' heads, says the texter. There's not a whole lot in my head, to be honest with you. Text says, I voted on Republican ballots in the primary for years as a non-affiliated voter. Republicans have sent a clear message that they don't want my votes, and I will vote accordingly in future elections. That's where, in my opinion, that's where I think that it's, and look, again, I go back over and over again to saying the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, they can choose whatever rules that they want for their party, okay? I think it's going to hurt them. Now, I could be totally wrong. I had several conversations with people from the political world last night, and one good friend of mine said, no, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. Yeah, I have a tendency to disagree, but we shall see. I know there's a lot of Republicans that weren't happy with the decision, and we had the head of the party in West Virginia, Josh Holstein, who's also a delegate, on the show shortly after, I guess you would say, the non-decision was made, because it wasn't changed, and you know, it's not his decision. It's the will of the people that were part of the organization, and they chose to go that way. His job was just to kind of, you know, keep everybody nice and calm and try to wade through the whole thing and go with what the will of the body was, and I think he did. Text says, I still don't understand why anyone that decided to reject both Democrats and Republicans would expect or want to vote in their primaries. And thank you for the text. There is something to be said for that too. I mean, there really is. And one of the arguments that I have gotten from people on both sides of the aisle has been, look, if you want to vote Republican, become a Republican. And same with Democrat. And I understand the argument. I am only saying that I think that it's really going to hurt the Republican Party, especially in certain areas of the state. I think southern West Virginia, I think it's really going to hurt. And I have been proven wrong many, many times in the past. Text says, I am a registered independent. After watching the last 2 years of Republican progress, I will vote Democrat, even though I said I never would due to the National Democratic Party. Maybe if enough independent people vote Democrat, it will wake up the Republican idiots in the states. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text says liberalism is a mental disorder. Text says independent conservatives are all bluster. At the end of the day, they'll toe the line and vote Republican. Well, they may in the general, but they won't in the primary because the Republican Party made sure of that. 18 minutes away from 3. We'll take a break and come back after this.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kirchhoff. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
For disease control and prevention.
Welcome back to the show. 14 away from 3 o'clock on this Tuesday afternoon. It feels good outside. I'm sure it does wherever you are. But sometimes with the weather in West Virginia, you can't necessarily make statements like that. But I think pretty much wherever you are in West Virginia probably feels pretty good right now. Meteorologist Brian Hughes says we're going to get some storm activity, though, tomorrow, and then a cool down possibly as we head into the Easter weekend. But for today, every opportunity that I have had, I have exited this studio and gone out the door, walked out onto our little front porch area at 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, and then walked back in again. Just because, as my grandfather used to say when he would catch his grandson staring out the window, is it still out there? I just wanted to make sure it was still out there. It does feel really, really nice. At least it does in Charleston today. It probably does where you are as well. Text says, you asked on the show yesterday what we hope to accomplish at the No Kings rally. It's simple. We want all elected officials to realize that they aren't kings. And also, we want the Epstein files released unredacted, and we want an end to the war in Iran. Well, that's a lot of stuff. Appreciate the text. Text says if political parties are paying for their own elections, then they can run them however they want to run them. Most people would not like the result of that. Good point. Good point. Text said, I love this $4 per gallon gasoline. Thanks, Trump. Text says, MetroNews website says Kanawha County schools will cut approximately 140 positions. Thank you, Republicans. Your war on public schools is working. Text says, Dave, did you see the Army raise the age limit and reduce fitness standards? That means your pro-war Mike jockey buddies, TJ and Dave, can join the Army and fight the war they support so much. I did read something about that. I don't think that they're going to take 40-something guys like Wilson and Meadows in there. I could be wrong about that. And the Mike jockey buddies. I like that. Mike jockeys. Text says the government has always paid for elections. It's a normal public expense similar to roads, water, and other government services. If the government doesn't provide elections, then we don't have a republic. Parties privately paying for elections for public officials makes little sense. Text says tomorrow is April Fool's Day, fitting that the biggest fools of all are Donald Trump and his MAGA cult members. You know there was an April Fool's Day before Donald Trump, right? I mean, it's not new. Just throwing it out there. Text says it's campaign season, and I just know that me and my family will not vote for anyone who puts campaign signs out by the road. Well, you're not going to have a whole lot of people to vote for, Texter, because they I can tell you where I live in Putnam County, they just kind of, it was like there was no signs, and then all of a sudden the signs are everywhere. Suddenly I'm channeling 5-man electrical band there. WICL gets the reference. Signs, everywhere the signs. But they are everywhere. I don't know if they're that way where you are, but I can tell you in Putnam County, they are everywhere, and they're only going to increase. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. I hear all the time about all these businesses, says a texter, opening up in West Virginia, but I never see them. Where are they? Well, they're there. I mean, it's not necessarily always a brick and mortar shop or restaurant or whatever. There are businesses that do things like consulting. There are businesses who do other things that you don't necessarily see. Text says, face it, data centers are going to be forced down our throats whether we want them or not. They are, I appreciate the text, they are a fact of life. Now, how much input the communities will have as to where they go and if they're in their community or not, that is still to be determined, but they're not going anywhere. They're not going as long as we're still Googling, and as long as now everybody's on AI and doing Chat GPT and all that stuff, then they're not going anywhere. Goes right along with this next text. You people moaning about data centers, stop using AI and write your own emails and such. Another one on the data centers. Text says, I'm in Boone County, and we'd love to have a data center down here. You know, and I think it's a very good point that Ashley Horst from the Stubblefield Institute brought up when we talked earlier in the hour, and that is that not every data center is the same. Any more than any factory is the same, and every house is every same. You know, they're all different, and they all have different demands. And I think that a good, healthy conversation about them with concerns is good. People want to know. But at the end of the day, again, I'll go back to saying that while the public may have some say-so on certain aspects of it, the need for data centers is not going to go away. And put down your phone. Don't use AI. Don't use ChatGPT or whatever it is. I don't use it, but I'm saying just there's a surprise, right? We have a demand and we have an addiction in this country, and that's not going away. Texas President Trump is still your president. We suffered through Sleepy Joe for 4 years. You'll be fine for 2 years until either J.D. Vance or Don Jr. takes over. All right, texter, no love for Marco Rubio there. It is 2:53, 7 away from 3. We'll wrap it up after this.
West Virginia Outdoors is the Mountain State's only hook and bullet radio show, dedicated to the more than 250,000 hunters and anglers across the state. Award-winning host Chris Lawrence has been tracking down hunting and fishing stories for more than 25 years.
They winter out there, they spend the summers out there, and for 2 magical months, these smallmouth just flock into this bay. When they come, they come. I mean, you've got a lake the size of close to West Virginia, if not the size of West Virginia, that's just full of smallmouth.
Whether it's hunting and fishing news or just compelling stories about the enjoyment of the great outdoors.
I've been wanting to see him this year, but I hadn't until we were coon hunting one night and we saw him, and he was still in velvet. I knew that he was the biggest buck around here, and I had wanted to kill him ever since then.
West Virginia Outdoors covers it all, Saturday mornings at 7:06 a.m. And for your daily fix, Outdoors Today brings you 2.5 minutes of news and notes from the woods and water every weekday morning on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
After my wife died, I felt like I lost everything, including my love of fishing. But one day, my granddaughter called, and I realized I still had a lot to look forward to. I got referred to a psychiatrist who explained depression can happen to anyone. Getting help doesn't make me weak. It makes me stronger. I just wish it made me better at fishing.
Mental health care is working for Diego. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
My husband and I were ready to sell our home of 25 years, so we got it appraised. We thought we knew what to expect, but when our home appraisal came back, we felt robbed. Compared to a similar home right around the corner, our appraisal was $80,000 less. That's a big difference. It was the same type of home in the same neighborhood in the same condition and age.
A recent study found that Latino and Black homeowners are about twice as likely as white homeowners to get low appraisals. For example, one Black homeowner received an appraisal more than double the original after removing family photos, Black art, and books from her home. If you believe your home has been unfairly appraised because of race or national origin, that could violate the Fair Housing Act. Contact HUD at hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Everyone has a right to fair housing. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Listen, I'm a West Virginian through and through. Grew up in Bridgeport, 35 years in the Charleston area. Rooted for the Mountaineers since, well, let's not talk ages. You won't find a bigger fan of our teams, but they get called out when they deserve it. MetroNews Hotline is the same for everything. Movies, music, local happenings, my inside knowledge, and occasional rants. Meet Coop's sharp humor, guaranteed to spark good talk radio. Think you can keep up? We're your afternoon anecdote to the ordinary on weekdays 3 to 6 on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
Welcome back to the show. We got about 3 minutes in front of 3 o'clock. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Dave Allen in the host chair, Stephanie Pauly, Matt Guitar Murphy, our producers today. Mr. WICL has arrived.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
I'm ready.
For what?
Well, I don't know. At 3 o'clock, we got a show. Maybe start prepping right about now.
Yeah, be a good time. Be a good time.
Yeah.
I saw I always repost your in or outs and question of the days today.
So what do you think about this? Is flag football having a moment?
Flag football has always been around. Is it more popular now than it has been in the past?
The NFL wants you to believe it is.
Yeah. Well, the NFL wants you to believe a lot of stuff, too.
Did you know that 35 states have high school flag football?
I knew there was a large amount and it was getting larger. I do know that, but I didn't know the exact number.
Participation in flag football is up like 50% since 2020. So the NFL is starting a pro men's and women's league. And the big story today, which really kind of gets it localized, is the fact that the Big 12 is looking to add women's flag football with at least 6 participants by 2028.
Okay.
That's in the Sports Business Journal today. So how would you feel about women's flag football in the Big 12, and how would you feel about WVU adding women's football or flag football as a varsity sport?
I think that to most Mountaineer fans would be all for it. I really, as long as it didn't take away from anything else, I think they'd be all for it. And something else to cheer for. Now, when would the seasons be?
Well, that's a great question. I don't even know. I have no idea. I guess whenever they want it.
Well, I'm just saying, because it's going to compete with something,
Well, they want to roll it out with the Olympics in L.A. in 2028 because it's going to be Olympic sport.
All right. You may have talked about this on the show, but one of the lower tier ESPN channels that do the
Ocho?
The Ocho. Is that some bizarre stuff or what? The World Pillow Fighting Championship. I wonder how many people turn that on and think it's real.
Hey, man, I saw the National Air Hockey Championship the other day.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right. Mr. WICL and the crew will be coming up with Metro News Hotline. I mean, these same Metro News stations. I'll be back tomorrow.
What? Really?
I'll be back tomorrow at noon.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, Amanda Barrett and I had this little thing, noon to 3. So we'll be back tomorrow to do Metro News Midday. Enjoy this nice weather because Brian Hughes is going to bring it all crashing down with severe weather tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.